गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स, मैं हूं आपका दोस्त मदन सिंह और मैं आपके साथ बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक के ऊपर बात करने वाला हूं। आप जानते हो कि आई एम ए मिलिट्री हिस्टोरियन, आई एम ए ग्रेजुएट ऑफ द डिफेंस सर्विसेज स्टाफ कॉलेज और मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि किस तरीके से यूक्रेन हैज पुट रशिया ऑन द बैक फुट और इसका रिपरकशंस क्या होगा। इट इज नॉट समथिंग सो सिंपल, यू नो, it's a very complex world which we are living in now. Everybody knows the news. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, मैं न्यूज आपको नहीं बताऊंगा. You already know the news. 4 Russian bases have been attacked 4,000 miles inside Russia, and इसकी planning took 1.5 years. और रशिया चूक गया. They could not know what has happened, and net result ये है कि उनकी जो न्यूक्लियर बॉम्बर फ्लीट थी, Tu-95, Tu-160, and almost 27 to 30 planes have been destroyed. They've been destroyed by what is called a drone attack from Ukraine. और ये अटैक बहुत ही अनोखे तरीके से हुआ है. In the sense what happened is कि बहुत सारी ड्रोन जो थी वो रशिया के टेरिटरी के अंदर से टेक ऑफ की, which is a bit of a surprise कि रशिया को पता नहीं चला कि ये चीज होने वाली है. That means their intelligence was very poor, number one. And number two, Putin was overconfident. You see, in war, you must be clear. Napoleon ने कहा था, you should not be overconfident ever in battle. और नेपोलियन खुद एक गलती कर गया था. आप जानते हो, वाटरलू में he was overconfident that he would beat the allies led by Wellington, and he lost. So ये overconfidence has cost Russia tremendous defeat. And just imagine कि ये जो bases थे, they were in Siberia, 4,000 miles away from the Ukraine, and उनको तबाह करके रख दिया यूक्रेन ने. अब रशिया must be wondering क्या करने वाला है. But I will tell you one thing more with my experience. आप historical facts देखिए. जो last 2 world wars हुई थी, World War I and World War II, the epicenter was Europe. First World War was fought by Germany and Turkey and Austria on one side. They were known as the Central Powers against the Allies. And then in World War II, Hitler, Mussolini and Tojo, they had formed what is called the Pact of Steel. And with that Pact of Steel, they had fought the Allies. Well, the Allies won in both the wars. और इस बार, I am very certain कि यूरोपियन पावर्स ने बहुत बड़ी मिस्टेक की है बाय अटैकिंग रशिया इनसाइड. मैं कहता हूं कि यूरोपियन पावर्स ने अटैक किया है, एंड इट्स नॉट यूक्रेन, बिकॉज द एंटायर प्लानिंग वुड हैव बीन डन बाय द ब्रिटिश एंड द फ्रेंच एंड द जर्मन्स, नॉट फॉरगेटिंग द अमेरिकन्स. हो सकता है डोनाल्ड ट्रंप मे नॉट बी नोइंग आल्सो दिस प्लानिंग हैज बीन डन, बट ही इज कीपिंग क्वाइट. अभी उसने कोई अपना भाषण नहीं दिया, ही इज नॉट स्पोकन अ वर्ड. But the situation is very good, gentlemen, and I personally feel, you know, when a man is going to die, he starts moving around in circles. And I think the British and the French, after the loss of their colonies, are now moving around in circles and have signed their death warrant. It sounds very silly when I say this, but this is a fact. And the British have asked the Americans for nuclear bombers to carry the nuclear bombs. I think England is forgetting what Nikita Khrushchev said in 1961. What did he say? He said, I just need 5 thermonuclear H bombs to drop on England, and England will cease to exist on the world map. I hope the British Prime Minister realizes what's happening, because this is a very dangerous situation game he's playing. He's thinking he's again going to be a big power, and he's trying to entice Donald Trump into it. And Donald Trump, as you know, is a maverick. He's got no policies. He's been talking of trade, he's been talking of sanctions, he's been talking of so many things, and he's stopping the war in Ukraine, he's been stopping the war in Gaza, but he's failed everywhere. And I think he suffered a big failure in Ukraine, and the net result is there is going to be a world war, unless Russia is able to strike a decisive blow on Ukraine. और मैं नहीं समझता किस तरीके से रशिया डिसाइसिव ब्लो यूक्रेन पे कर सकता है, because as it is, Ukraine तो devastated है. There is nothing left in Ukraine. The infrastructure is destroyed. And what are the Russians going to do now? How are they going to give a fitting reply? एक बात तो फैक्ट है कि ये जो ऑपरेशन यूक्रेन ने किया है, इट इज वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑपरेशंस इन वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, रादर मिलिट्री हिस्ट्री का ये बहुत बड़ा ऑपरेशन है. ये मैं अलग से ये ऑपरेशन डिस्कस करूंगा फ्रॉम द मिलिट्री पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इन अनदर वीडियो, पर इस वक्त मैं उसकी पॉलिटिकल रिपरकशंस बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये यूक्रेन ने बड़ी गलती की है. गलती की इन द सेंस कि यूक्रेन तो तबाह हो ही जाएगा, एंड यूक्रेनी का जो प्रेसिडेंट है, दैट इज मिस्टर जेलेंस्की, ही मे बी gone anyway. We don't know where he will go, but this is going to be what is going to happen to Ukraine. It's going to be something terrible is going to happen. And the French and the Germans, who have been so very vociferous in supporting Ukraine, are also going to be in serious problem. Very, very serious problem. I've already given you the statement of Nikita Khrushchev, the first secretary of the Soviet Communist Party in 1961. And despite the French president talking a lot of nonsense, I don't think France can win any battle. And we know for the last 200 years, the French have not been able to win a single war. And you think they're going to win this war now? So basically what happens is that the Western powers are baiting the devil. You know what baiting the devil means? You want to feed the devil, and the devil wants world war. That Lucifer, who's the antithesis of Jesus Christ, and he is going to win. He wants a third world war coming. And the only man who can, I think, stop it now is Donald Trump. And we'll have to watch and see whether this man has got the guts to do anything further against his allies, that is Germany, France, and England. Most of the other European powers are not with them. Poland, Hungary, Italy, they don't want to fight the Russians and have a third world war because they know the consequences. But the British and French, are clouded. Their vision is clouded. They feel, well, the time has come when we should reassert ourselves, destroy Russia, and we'll become the global power in Europe. Alibaba, this is not Alibaba's genie and the three wishes. No, sir, no. There, the riches in Alibaba's caves came out to the genie. There's nothing going to come out for the British except destruction and the complete devastation of their society, of their civilization. My point is, what are the British and the French thinking? Well, all this may be still stopped if some concessions are made to Russia, but the way the Ukrainians are going around, cock-a-hoop with victory, I don't think there's any solution further. Gentlemen, I personally feel the Western world, in particular Britain and France and Germany, have signed the death warrant. That's the end for them. Ukraine is devastated, and this attack is going to have a repercussions. I don't know what the Russians are going to do. But if it transpires and the Russians come to know that the planning of this attack was done by the British and the French, I think they'll be held to pay. But one thing is very clear, that Vladimir Putin has been caught napping. I mean, that's the thing. I didn't expect a great leader like him. One thing about Joseph Stalin was he would not be caught napping like Putin, and a number of places he's been caught napping. I think after the recent advances in Ukraine, he should have gone in for the peace talks and consolidated his gains. That is what politics is. That is what is called the art of diplomacy. I think that is where they were totally being foolish. Well, gentlemen, I think I will close the short video now. But one thing, as I've told you again, the seeds of the Third World War are already sown. And when the plant blossoms, we'll have to wait and see. A great mistake has been committed by Zelensky in carrying out this attack. Because when you catch the Russian bear by the tail, you know what happens. I expect a Russian response. And definitely it's not going to be sitting in a peace conference with Ukraine. And Donald Trump, I think, I was having a lot of fond hopes about this man. I was his big supporter, but it's turned out that he's a maverick. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, which world he's going. And he seems to be in a different world altogether. But overall, his policy is only one, and that is white supremacy. Well, people may not agree with me, but that is his only consistent policy. And that white supremacy has to be shattered. I'm neither on the side of Russia nor on the side of the Americans. I want peace. I'm a man of peace. But I'm afraid, gentlemen, peace is now miles and miles away. And if the Russians launch a counteroffensive, they'll be held to pay. But they will do something. They have to do something, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But what's going to happen is that the goose is getting cooked. The goose being cooked is very tasty and nice to eat. But that will be the French and the British goose. I hope Trump can still see reason, put pressure on the British and the French. And the only solution is to disband NATO if you don't want Third World War and the destruction of the Western civilization. I'll say goodbye, gentlemen. I hope you like this video. Please share it with your friends. And I will say, come back again, subscribe to my videos, share it with your friends, give your comments, and I will close it now and say, Jai Hind.